Here we go. We're live. Welcome to Coffee, Eggs and Inspiration. It's a weekly show that goes out over YouTube and as a podcast over all of the major channels. And each week I get to sit with an inspiring person and listen to them tell their story and share it with all of you. This week is no different. I'm joined by Patrick Diai, otherwise known as Ultra. Welcome, Patrick. Number one.
Thank you.
Patrick is a founder. He's an entrepreneur. He's got a company called Above Boxing, which is a personal development company. Also, he's got the Number One Face, which is an apparel company. I'm actually sporting one of the hoodies. See, Patrick's got his cap on as well. So we're all in the brand. Patrick's a motivational speaker as well. He's had lots of different roles in the past in both business development in companies, but also mentorship and training. Companies including Uber and General Motors on the businessy side of things. And in mentorship and personal development, he's worked with the Imperial College, National Citizenship Service. I find that really hard to say. National Citizenship Service, NCS. That's easier. Teach First.
Yeah, that's what I just. Yeah,
NCS much better. But I've got a really a mental block on acronyms. I hate acronyms, so I have to say the whole word, even if it's difficult. NCS, National Citizenship Service. Also, and this is a really cool element, Patrick is the European, or was the European boxing champ, and also 2 times British University boxing champ. So he's a boxer, and brings a lot of that sort of ethos into everything he does. And as though all of that isn't enough, he's also a rapper. And we're going to play some of your rap. I don't know how you find the time. Should we kick off with a rap? What do you think? Should we do that?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it. It's my latest single.
Latest single. Okay, I'm going to flip over to screen share. Here we go. You got to do the moves, man.
The vision's clear. Yeah? Ultra. One. Look, get to the top. That's the ambition. But you can't get to the top with no... That's like getting in a cup and not bleeding. Bro, get to the top. Get fit, hop over every obstacle. Get lit, celebrate, pop a bottle. You make the hits. Life is just the instrumental.
Keep going. How did you jump that high? How did you? That was like, I don't know, chest height. You just jumped 2 feet. What an athlete as well. What a great shot to stop on. I'll link this below. Actually, Patrick's got a few tracks out there on YouTube. But really cool groove, man. I love your rap. And the music's cool, and the message is really good, and I think that's probably the key part of it. Let's start with you telling us how this came about. You know, what's your background? How did you grow up?
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for that phenomenal introduction as well. I like it. So from Newham, which is in East London, unfortunately one of the most deprived boroughs in England. So growing up, grew up around like gangs, violence, crime, that kind of stuff. But deep down, I just always knew that I wanted more from life, and that I just wanted to be successful. Didn't really know what that looked like, but growing up, I just also knew that I loved solving problems. So something that I was really into was like fixing bikes and that kind of stuff. So that's what I involved, and then getting paid for those, those kind of things.
You're fixing what, bicycles or motorcycles?
Yeah, fixing my friends' bicycles. So if they had a puncture or broke down or changing the chains, like those. Yeah, when I think of my youth, that's what I remember.
You say
so I was in like 8. Yeah, that's how it started initially, and then so then when I was in year 8, yet again, I got involved in boxing because like I had to learn self-defense. Everyone knows how to, I don't know, play fight, but you need to know how to actually do it structurally. So I started boxing um, intentionally to learn some self-defense. But then when I got there, I learned so much more. Like it's not just about fighting someone, There's an amazing discipline around it. And yeah, I continued. Yeah.
Can you talk more about that? What is this discipline that you're talking about? What's the mental model that boxing teaches you?
Okay. So I guess you have to fight within the rules, and a lot of rules to be part of. One being, you need to be the right weight. So, you got to eat correctly. Um, yeah, train so that you make weight. Um, Basic things like being places on time. So like, you can't turn up to your fight late, otherwise there's no show. Come in with the correct kit. Yet again, they're very strict with what you wear, you know. And then, there's a training aspect of things. You need to turn up for training. You need to do the drills. You got to do things you don't want to get the results that you want, you know. It's very tough, very tough. And, you know, one of the greatest things is that, and I feel like it's one of my favorite inspirational quotes. It's doing what needs to be done long after motivation to start disappears. So,
Interesting.
like
So
when we first start something, you're like, yeah, 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 I can do this, I can do this. But there's gonna be a point where you're like, this is long now. I'm getting hurt now. But that at that moment, you need to remember why you started and keep persevering. You know.
yeah,
So yeah, that's some of the skills that real resilience boxing taught me. Yeah, and that whole competitive spirit. So yeah,
it's a great discipline actually. Doing what needs to be done long after the novelty wears off is the message, and it's teaching you resilience. It's teaching you the work ethic. Nothing comes for free, in a sense, and just those personal disciplines about timeliness and showing up with the right gear. I love it, and that you had
at a
some
young
success.
age, that's very important. At a young age, very important. That responsibility,
100%, 100%.
having that responsibility at a young age.
You need to show us your T-shirt. I think just on that note before we move to the
Oh, okay,
next.
this one, yeah. So it says, "Train hard, live easy," and yeah, it's one of our slogans for Above Boxing.
Fantastic.
Train hard, live easy. Don't just live easy without training hard. You
Yeah,
deserve it. Yeah,
I
you
need
work for it.
to really take a note for myself. I've got a bit of honestly a bit of COVID weight happening. Uh, Probably need to go to one of
We've
your
got to do
classes.
an online session. We've got to do an online session.
Okay, all right. Well,
I offer
I've
that.
done boxing before, actually. Boxing's really amazing for fitness. I have done boxing classes before, just going through the motions, and it's a surprising all body workout, and it kind of
Very
looks
intense.
gentle and elegant when you watch professionals do it, but it's super hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's hard. Um, Tell us how. So you made the transition. You were a very successful boxer, but you made the transition at some stage into business, into the business world, into the
Yeah,
entrepreneurship world, and also
yeah.
into personal training and motivational speaking. How did that transition come about?
Okay, so I went to university and I studied electrical electronic engineering. And when I graduated, I found myself in a position where I was really good at boxing, but there were people that were doing it full time. That was it. And I felt like I had another opportunity to do other things. Um, Namely, because I had completed university and I got good grades, a lot of schools and colleges and even my university at the time were booking me to speak in schools, to speak there and tell my story of, like, you know, how did you win the British University Championships whilst you were doing your dissertation, you know, and like, yeah, like just all these different challenges, like what did you do, what kind of mindset does it take, and yeah, so and that was like my very first time really experiencing anything like that. So what happened was, when I graduated, I kept boxing, and at the same time, I started delivering these motivational talks. Um, First time doing it, but I was really good at it because for some reason I feel like I've consumed all motivational content there is in this world. So like, I'm being honest, because like, you know, going through doing an engineering degree, I felt like dropping out from the first year. Honestly, like I remember very vividly in my class, there was like maybe 80 people on day one. In the next 2 weeks, ask me how many people were left.
Tell me, tell me.
It was no more than 30.
Ah, wow.
Small group, because people kept jumping ship. They were like, oh, I'm going to try this. I'm going to do this instead, because it was very tough, very tough. Um, but yeah, so you had to like mentally gas yourself, meaning, you know, mentally stimulate yourself and persuade yourself and encourage yourself that you can do this, that you can push through. I had to talk to, I made friends with everyone who's a year above and 2 years above. Kept asking them, how do you do this? How? Are you a human being? Do you know what I mean? And then they gave me yeah, because how did you make it through this year? This year was really tough. How did you do it?
Yeah.
So yeah, they gave me the encouragement to get through. But anyway, so obviously I graduated now, was boxing full time, very intense, but at the same time giving these speeches and giving these talks. And then I had the opportunity to apply for a little grant. Um, so long story short, I applied for the grant, gave a great presentation, and I got a little bit of funding to run my first boxing sessions. And I ran those sessions at a local youth center, and that went really well. So I was delivering free boxing to my local community at the time. Yeah, that went really well. Um, and then yeah, everything just built from there
Go
on,
from there.
basically.
And the funding, Patrick, was that Prince's Trust, or it was Prince's Trust,
No,
was
so
it?
this funding, no, I got involved with the Princess Trust a bit later. So this funding was with Starbucks. So Starbucks
Oh,
UKU, um, yeah, they were given funding for like grassroots projects, you know, in really challenging areas with people who they felt could, like young, inspirational people, they could make a difference in the community. So I applied and I got it. I was so happy. Like, yeah.
good old
Um,
Starbucks. Eh? Shout out to Starbucks on getting Patrick started. So, I mean, you've got at least two businesses, at least two primary
yeah,
businesses: Above Boxing, which is
yeah,
your personal development company, which I guess is an evolution of that early Starbucks concept, and the number one
yeah.
face. Let's start with Above Boxing and just talk a little bit, if you could, about
Okay.
what you offer there, and you know
Mhm.
what the outcomes are.
Okay, so Above Boxing, the way it came out was after delivering my speeches to schools and colleges, I would leave feeling really fulfilled, feeling really pumped, and then get a message from the school saying, "Yeah, you need to come in again." I'm thinking, huh? Didn't the talk do it? Like, you know, so it turned out that, you know, people actually need to go through a program, well, young people especially, to just to make change happen. So, you know, you speak to 100 people, speak to 200 people, but in reality, you know, it probably only hits about 20% of those people. So, yeah. I went to schools and started delivering some of my core messages around leadership, around resilience, um, around confidence building, around self-esteem and looking after your mental health, and around discipline. So that was the program. So it was the above boxing program. We trialed it in a youth center. It worked. Started delivering it in school. Yeah, and that's how it's, yeah. And so now I deliver sessions with that concept in mind.
Okay. I'll
So
link
not
these
only
below.
are you looking up, yeah, so not only are you looking after your physical health, but you're also looking after your mental health. You're also learning a skill. You're also building your confidence up, your body image, your mindset, that kind of stuff. So it's more than just, throwing a punch, basically.
Absolutely, a full
That's why I
thing.
call it
So
above
I'll link
boxing.
all of this. Yeah, I'll link all of this below. You used a phrase I want to pick up on. I think you said self-pristine. Did I hear you right?
Self-pristine?
Did you say self-pristine?
Self-esteem. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Self-esteem.
Esteem.
So
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
idea of the idea of the mental image of yourself. Can you talk a little bit more about that and how you uh, with the people that you work with?
So it's about looking inside yourself and finding ways to motivate yourself and yeah, understanding yourself, understanding what makes you tick, your identity, and yeah, just around looking after your mental health and your self-esteem.
Yeah, such an important part, and so important, particularly in this really strange time that we find ourselves. Usually, I do these interviews face to face, and I can't wait to meet you face to face. But we're still in
Likewise,
lockdown. We're filming this in, what are we, October 2020. So
October.
for
Yeah, yeah.
now, we'll look forward to the face to
Really
face.
strange time. Really strange.
Really strange time, but
Mhm.
that speaking of face to face, tell me about the number one face. Where did the logo come from, and what's your vision for this apparel brand that we've got?
Cool. I think it'll be appropriate to actually be wearing the cap whilst I'm talking
Would
about
be,
this.
yeah, definitely. I've got my. I can't be the only brand ambassador here.
Like, yeah, no, I appreciate you because the first time I told you about it, you went away and bought it. I don't think that's ever happened in my life. Like,
I bought
I
my
was
hoodie.
talking to him about it. Oh yeah, I bought one.
And can I give you some shameless advertising here, because I really like the
Go on.
message. Right? Trust is expensive, and when I got the hoodie, this is not an advertorial. Just to be clear, I'm not being paid for this. I'm not sponsoring it or anything like that. But do you know what I love about
We
this?
can't afford you.
It's got a really high hood, and it's super warm. It's like really cozy. I've been wearing. Honestly, I kid you not, I've been wearing it a lot because it's great. It's a bit rainy in London at the moment. It's getting cooler, so it's really good quality stuff. Anyway, I cut across you, so you tell me more about the brand.
Yeah.
And where you want to take it.
Sure. So the brand's called the Number One Face, and one of our collection is this Trust Number One. Some people read it as Trust No One as well, but our real message is Trust Number One. It's about trusting yourself and your number ones. The whole idea is for it's for everyone who takes loyalty seriously, yeah, and they don't just trust naively. So the whole concept came from my lifestyle back in like 2005, 2006. On the roads and the streets, people were like, trust no one, trust no one, trust no one. And I was like, I get that, but there were still a few people that I trust, and like those are my number ones. So I've always just been looking for a way to represent that and to symbolize that, and that is through this cap, through the brand. So yes, stands.
I guess
So
the message there, Patrick, is don't put the walls up too high around you. You will have people. I mean, you can rely on yourself, but you can also develop
yes.
an inner circle of people who are authentic friends and genuinely there for you, and they're your
That's
number
it.
one. Right.
That's it. And the people know that you're self-aware, so they know that you're clued up around who you trust. It's not just an accident. I trust you. Like, I'm actually telling you, I trust you. You're part of my circle, and yeah, be very aware, be very self-aware. That's what the brand's about, raising that awareness.
And trust is expensive, as the thing
Yeah,
says.
yeah. Trust is expensive. That's another avenue. Trust is expensive because you shouldn't just give it away. It's not free. Take time. So trust is expensive.
You earn it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Which is a great note to invite you to say some closing words. The people who
Okay.
watch my channel, many of them are young. They may be coming out of school or university. In some cases, they may be, changing jobs or maybe even out of a job right now. What advice, with all of the experience you've had in your companies and the disciplines that you've pursued over the years, what advice would you have for me?
There are so many. So many. Two, real. One is read books. So like go on Google and find out, the top personal development books within wherever you're struggling in life, and read it, because there's like 10 years of knowledge at one book. Basically, it can shift you to success. But if I was to leave everyone with one piece of information, I would say don't major in minor things. So what does that mean? That means, it's a bit raw, but it's the truth. Honestly, I don't, it's the elephant in the room, so to speak. So don't major in minor things. So recognize the most important things you need to be doing and spend all your time on that. Don't waste your time on stuff that are minor.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, prioritize. Yeah, that's another way of putting it. Prioritize. Whatever's important to you, do it.
I love that message, Patrick. Patrick Ultra, thank you so much for joining me. You're an inspiration.
Yes.
Don't major in the minor things. I'm gonna remember that one. That's unique. Thank you so much. You're an inspiration.
Thank you for having me, Craig.